Hello my friends, this is Troy Stone King. Welcome back to another Facebook Live video. Hey, apologize for the fact that we're running just a couple minutes late, had a minor scheduling conflict, so thank you for understanding. The title of this video is The Fastest Way to Move Forward in Anything. The fastest way to move forward in anything. Let me ask you a question. What do Little League players, opera singers, Michael Phelps, and the most successful entrepreneurs in the world all have in common? What do Little League players, opera singers, Michael Phelps, and the most successful entrepreneurs in the world all have in common? Here's what they all have in common. Every one of those individuals and groups has a coach, or some of them, multiple coaches. Let me tell you a story. A few years ago, I wanted to, get going more on some of the relationship things and share information about relationship issues and such. And I didn't really have a lot of experience on how to kind of build a platform for that. So I hired a coach and I paid money for this person who had done exactly what I wanted to do, but was a little bit further down the road than I was on that journey. I hired him and we had a series of online calls, Skype, Zoom type calls. And within just a couple of weeks, I was already writing in some major locations online. Within a couple, 3 weeks, I was writing for Mind Body Green and for the Huffington Post and getting articles that were being shared 30,000 times. I couldn't have done that on my own. Why? Because I wouldn't have known even who to talk to, how to pitch the article, where to pitch the article, the best way to write a pitch letter for an article, the kind of articles that these kinds of sites are looking for. I wouldn't have known any of that without a coach. It was so very worth the investment to hire that individual. How have I gone from, in less than 2 weeks, how have I gone from 0 people watching to around 5,000 views at this point? I'll tell you, I hired another coach. I paid money for someone who had expertise in this area. Let me tell you what hiring a coach can do for you. It does several things. First of all, it helps you avoid the pitfalls. Someone who's been doing it longer than you, even a little bit longer than you, has gone through the process to discover where there are problems and issues, so they can help you to avoid those pitfalls. Here's the second thing. They can help you find the fastest path. You don't have to try and figure out the solution. That coach I had a few years ago, he's like, hey, if you want to get into Huffington Post, here's the email address that you send the pitch to. And here's exactly what you should have in that pitch letter besides your article. And here's exactly what kind of article you should write. It should be a listicle. It should have a series of bullet points. It should be focused on these issues, because these other issues they don't care about in this publication. Here's the third thing that a coach does for you. Gives you constant course correction. A coach can look at what you've done, the action that you've taken, and say, you know what, this is going well, but let's just make this small change, perhaps to make it more effective. A coach gives you external accountability. If you're like me, and we talked about this a few videos ago, if you're like me, why am I so stinking lazy? I needed someone on the outside who could say, okay, Troy, what is the action that you're taking based on the discussion we had on our last call? Are you taking action on what we discussed? I don't want to disappoint the person who is coaching me, and I especially don't want to waste the money that I paid. So you know what I do? I take action. Hi, that's what I'm doing right now. And here's the last one. Hiring a coach gives you skin in the game. It gives you skin in the game. It's easy to buy a book and read about how to do something and then not act on it. It's easy to listen to podcasts and get some great information and not act on it. But when you've put out your hard-earned money, you're a lot more likely to take action. In fact, scientific studies have shown that people who pay for coaching actually have a lot more success. No one accomplishes anything great without some kind of sacrifice. But the beauty of hiring a coach isn't really sacrifice. It's an investment. What's your most important asset? It's you. It's you. Now, maybe if you're building a business, you need to rent a building or rent an office. Maybe if you're building a business, you need to pay for advertising and marketing. And maybe if you're building a business, you need to hire people for specific tasks. But the most valuable asset of whatever you're doing is you. Where should you put your heaviest investment? In you. In fact, I'd recommend you set aside 10% of your income and put it into you. And a large portion of that, probably the largest portion of that, should be in hiring a coach, someone who can work with you one-on-one. And it doesn't matter if they're physically near you or not. My first coach, he was in Hawaii part of the time, and he was in Wisconsin part of the time. My current coach, he's in Utah. It doesn't make any difference where they're at, because they can talk to you like we're doing right now, and they can review your materials online, and you can send them stuff via email, or you can upload it to Dropbox or whatever. So just to review, what's the fastest way to move forward in anything? And I'm not just talking about business. I'm talking about weight loss and health and relationships. What's the fastest way? To get someone with experience to help you do it, and that's a coach. Thank you, my friends. Oh, one other thing I want to say. I mentioned this a few times. If you've got specific topics that you'd like me to address, I will absolutely do my best to do so. If you want to send those in to me, you can send them via email to live@troystoneking.com. That's live@troystoneking.com. Or just drop them in the comments of one of these videos. Appreciate so much you guys taking the time out of your day to watch these videos. I hope they're providing great value for you. Please leave me comments. Please leave me comments so I can kind of see where you're coming from. And it's great to see my friend Matt from way back in high school. Appreciate you, Mr. Kefauver. And Rick, hi, how you doing? So thank you, my friends. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Thanks again.